What's up, guys? What's up, Skunk? Wise Trader, what's happening, man? Just sitting here going to look at a few charts. What a day, man. What a day. What a day. I think I tweeted earlier, like Monday, like I hadn't done much of anything uh, in a couple of weeks. And, well, I mean, just a couple of 2 or 3 knick-knack trades. But I've been waiting for these inside weeks. I waited all last week for the inside week to break, and then we had a double inside week. So basically, waited for this setup for the past 2 weeks, and we had the double inside week, and the spies lost their monthly. NQ did not, but the spies did. I'm just looking at some levels real quick. We're about 3 minutes from the official start time, which means I'll have to edit this. I've never edited it, so this is going to be a learning experience to me. So I started early where I can edit it. Yeah, I'm retarded. When's the last time you heard Toad Wet Sprocket? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Now I'm going to be censored. Google's going to get on my ass. I can't say that. Sorry, Google. I didn't mean to say their name. You know, they say that I don't have copyrights. You know, if I have the album, I got a fucking copy, don't I? Why can't I play it? It's my album. Don't tell me I don't have copyrights. I paid $13 working in a cornfield 30 years ago. I love this song too, man. This is a one of them womanizing songs. Looking at any particular stocks you guys want, post them up here and I'll look at them. I moved my screens where I don't have to look away, where I can just do it and kind of glance over here. There's some chart damage, folks. Chart. But I mean, hey, look, I'm not one for. I'm just happy we're picking a direction here. But you know, midday around 2 o'clock, we had a. I was going to say it was an abandoned baby, but now we're looking. Man, I don't know what I'm going to call this. Stick of dynamite. That's what it looks like. A stick of dynamite. Red candle with a wick out the top. I don't know what we do with a stick of dynamite, but that's what it looks like. NVIDIA, man, stuff got hammered today. Now this right here is a dirt road riding song. Whiskey drinking, moonshine. Hey, moonshine. You got to know the words of this. If you don't, man, you need to unfollow me. I saw Hank Jr. in the Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia in 1991. Not going to tell you what I was doing, but you can imagine. Hey, Steve, what's happening? All right, guys, I was just sitting here looking. I'm going to try and keep it short. You know, what's the old joke? What's the best sermon a preacher can give? A short one. So that's why I tell my preacher every Sunday, man, for God's sakes, would you hush? You know, pass the offering plate. I'm kidding. All right, we kind of got, it's kind of a, first of all, let's start off with the bond market. been telling you guys to watch bonds. Pretty sure I tweeted that out last week. Or maybe it was the week before. I didn't do much tweeting at all last week. I've been taking a little hiatus on you guys and you paying people, just subscribers. I'm sorry that sometimes if I'm not trading, it might be your cue not to trade too. Sometimes you got to step back, man. I don't like August. And then we had too much going on with feds, and last week was OPEX. This week was the feds. So it's just the kind of environment, man, I mean, you can make money, but you're also, it's too, you just didn't know. You could rip higher or lower. I mean, this move could have been up if they'd have said what they needed to say about interest rates. Yeah, I mean, and now I scalped a couple of things, but I just had so many, so much stuff going on that I just needed a break, man. I was kind of burnt out of social media. I was tired of trading. When you're kids, and I'm going to wander around the circus here. When you kids don't get they don't get a break in school no more. I mean, like when school lets out, they start practicing like cheerleading and football like the very next week, and so we don't get breaks either and so anyhow, just to a point where, but now we got a market that I think is going to be tradable. Now I think that the futures, I was looking at the futures NQ a while ago. NQ where was it? NQ's down 5. Whatever the market does and they open in the morning, probably doing the opposite, fading that trade is what I think is going to happen in the morning. I think if we open down, Q's closed at 431. If we go, I'll post the chart, but 429.71 is a level that could hold on the Q's, and then if that doesn't hold, then we're going to have a much lower move. We may drop another 5%, my guess. If you did follow bonds broke the October lows today. Okay, and so of course that went with what they were saying yesterday. And yesterday was probably the first time I felt like the Feds actually kind of sort of told the truth. Because of before all these meetings, everybody was anticipating a pivot. I think they've completely knocked the pivot off the table. Is what I think. What's happening now is what I've been thinking, exactly what I was thinking would happen. Like we finally got through these couple of weeks of OPEX and feds, and now we're finally past that, and now we're making the move. This is, I don't know how some of you guys have been trading a long time or as long as me, and some of you are fairly new traders, but if you've never gone into going into an October like this, not good. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm predicting a crash. I'm not, but here's and you guys have been watching the market, things that we should have already been down here to begin with. So do we have buyers come out of the woodwork? Maybe. I mean, because we all know that there's some entity out there that's been propping the market up. I noticed they tried to push up. I did notice something. I did notice on the stocks that I have green today. You had United Healthcare was up 9. That's the largest holding in the diamonds is United Healthcare. It was last time I looked. It may have changed, but it was like at 11% of the diamonds. So it was up 9. Then you had the FedEx up 11, which propped up the transports. United Healthcare is up 9 and FedEx is up 11. And oil was up. Oil was up another 40 cents. Oil was up. USO's over 80. I don't know exactly where the actual price of oil. I've never been an oil trader, so I know an oil trader. I used to know him. I don't know what happened to him. So, But anyhow, guys, I'm looking down the list right now and just looking at a lot of these stocks. The market didn't give you the candle, but a lot of these stocks gave you the abandoned baby look. And I would play that as an inside day tomorrow when the day starts. I mean, if it opens inside, then you just trade it as an inside day. But it meant like normally when you get that kind of gap down in that kind of space, you have a little bit of retracement. So I kind of look for uh, the best case scenario to me is we have a down open, the Qs drop down to the 429.71 level. If the Qs do drop down to that 429.71, I will buy it there. I'm not saying I'm loading a boat, but I will attempt to trade there. And if it breaks below that level, I'm gonna sell it. No hesitation about it. I'm just gonna sell it. But I will, within, I'm not gonna sell it like for 3 cents, but I'm willing to lose a quarter on it. Right there. You gotta. I tell you, the best thing I'm seeing right now, the best trades I'm seeing is coming off the hourly. The 15 minutes been it's not breaking like it normally would, but the hourly today broke real well. And on days like today, I told you sometimes I trade the futures. Most of the time I'm trading stocks. These are the kind of days I trade. I traded nothing but futures today. Pretty much all NQ. I traded ES one time because they had I traded ES because ES broke its monthly low today. It broke through the wick on the month. So that's the only trade I made in ES is when that broke, I shorted it. It was I think 43. I got it written down like 433.01 on SPY is where the monthly candle was, and when it broke, I went short. And I don't know what I made money. I don't remember what I made in it. I didn't like crush that trade. I think I made 20 ES points is not bad. But I made a lot more trades, and I probably traded because I traded all time frames. I was trading the 1 minute, the 2 minute, the 5 minute, the 15, the 30, the hour. I traded all those time frames all day, and I probably had I hadn't even looked, but I had probably over 50 trades today. I mean, it was moving around, man. It was like 20, 30. I mean, like some of those, if you were watching NQ today, man, did you see those candles today, man? They were friggin' 40.1 minute candles. I like those kind of days. You just don't want to get caught on the wrong side of that. I got caught on one of those today. I did. But out of, how many trades, just one of those little rips. But I didn't close it out. I double down like you're supposed to when you get in a hole. You don't close it, you double down. That brings us to I'm gonna have to talk to some boys at the football game tomorrow night, aren't I? The guy, the president of the Booster Club gave me this. He really did. Remember when Tilray went like from whatever, like 5 to 100 or whatever it was, 10 to 80 or whatever. Well, I got him in that. I told him to get in it, and he made like 50. I mean, he made like 70, 80 grand off of it. And this is what I got. That's what $70,000 to get you in Georgia. Anyhow, it's very, this isn't the thimble moonshine. I got some moonshine that you can only do a thimble. You can actually do a little swig of this. So I'm going to have a little swig. No mixed drink tonight. Wish y'all were here. I've got some apricot moonshine, and I have some cake batter moonshine, but I had a sleepover with like 12, 15, 16-year-old boys, and somehow the jar got busted. Yeah, after y'all drank it all, y'all busted it. Yeah, I know what you did. All right, one more little sip. That'll cure you right there of any ailments. Arthritis, gone. Dan, what's up, man? You like moonshine? So, anyhow, my guess is that This is my thinking. Is this the event that's going to if I thought talking like this, the dog my tongue got heavy. I told you about that guy, right? I used to hunt this property, and I'm talking about some hillbillies showing up like swamp rats and lived up in the hills about 30 miles north of me. And I thought this guy was I thought he was a hair lip. I mean, I'm not trying to, I mean, I really did. I mean, because y'all may talk like that. And anyhow, I found out he was not a hair lip. Just every time I had been around him, he was drunk on moonshine. So, God rest his soul. First time I met him, he pulled a pocket knife on me. True story. I didn't know who he was. I was on his property and I was questioning him what he was doing out there. He didn't take kindly to it. True story. He pulled a knife. Of course, then I pulled my rifle and I won that argument. So, yeah, this was my best friend's uncle that they did not warn me about. That's the first time. This is the first time I met this guy, just like that. But we became big buddies after this. I mean, like we drink moonshine together. Then I thought talking like he did. So, anyhow, all right. So here's the deal. This is my guesstimate of what I see going on. I don't think the feds, and remember, this is my thinking, and I'm just going to play it whichever way. I don't think that the feds can let bonds just break any further right here. That's what I think. But there will have to be an event that uninverts the yield curve. I've been saying this. Remember last time we talked, I said this. I think this event's coming, and I think this could be it. We may see. It's going to take a bond event, and we've got the makings for one right now. I mean, you've got bonds. I'm talking about they really gapped down today. I mean, like, what did TOT? What did it close at today? How far was it down? TOT closed down 2.74%, down 255 at 90.54. So it's barely below the October lows. You know, I was charting it. There's not a lot of support for TOT until 80, in my opinion. So, you know, you're looking at what, another 5% down on the bonds, which is going to shoot. But they'll see the long end needs to come up. It does. I mean, the long end needs to come up. You know, I've never seen, and I know I talked about this last time. I've never seen a yield curve stay inverted for this long. That something, some kind of crisis didn't happen. It's never been good for the market, and the market's held up. You know, the market's just now rolling over, and the bonds have been selling off for the last 2 months. So that was, you know, kind of, I was like, man, this is the you know, the market wasn't following the bonds at all. But man, you've got a nasty, you know, bonds have they you know they'll probably rally them. It's 90.54. I see bonds, maybe TOT coming back up to, there's a trend line at 94, 93 and a half, 94, between 92 and 94. So yeah, I look for bonds maybe to rebound a little bit. And with the bonds rebounding, I think what I'm predicting to happen here is we're going to draw a bear flag right here. I think we may rally a day or two and maybe have an inside day or something like that. Okay, now that's just one scenario. The other scenario is this thing picks up steam and we have another. I mean, I definitely think this is the making of a major leg down. I do. And I'm not saying that 100% that this is, but I think that the writing's on the wall. I mean, you know, but let's play out all scenarios, because as a trader, that's what you need to do. Let's don't sit here and say, oh, this is going to crash, or this is, because you never know. You can't just say, now I can think this all I want, but I will trade the upside if it shows me a trade to the up. If it looks like that's what's going to happen, I won't hesitate to do that. You know, because it's not about being right or wrong. I mean, it doesn't even matter what direction it goes. You just got to know your setups. That's all there is. Know your setups. Forget everything else. Know your setups. And, you know, I've been pecking these stocks, but see, I was waiting for the setup in the averages for 2 weeks. And that's when I don't like trading the averages until we got a move like this, till we got like a 2%, 3% moves in it. That's when I like to uh, trade the futures. And so anyhow, first time I traded the futures account in a while, but it was a good day. It was a good day. Um, it was really, but I could have done the same thing as some of these stocks. I mean, there's a lot of these stocks that were set up nicely. Um, AMD, remember I've been told you it was like my favorite. That thing's dropped what 25, 30 points in the last 6 weeks, something like that. Yeah, I think AMD is going to go to us. I think a lot of these stocks are going to go back to their October lows if we continue to the downside. September is, even though October has a reputation, September is notoriously the worst month of the year for stocks. They own, like, over the years, I think September actually has a negative return. So, September's always been, my least favorite month's August. My second one is September. August and September I don't like. But today I like September. Uh, Sometimes September, you get some gappy moves like this in September. So if we rally back, if you looked at the charts with like the trend lines, the ones that we broke today, if we open up, okay, we talked about opening down. If we open up and we get up around one of those trend lines, just like I'll buy the Qs at that one, whatever I said, whatever level it was, what was it? Qs, where you at? The 355. SPY was the 429s, I think. Yeah, SPY was 429s and Qs. So if they open down a couple of points, I would go long there. But if we open up into some of the trend lines, whether it be one of my trend lines or the 8 or the 21, the VWAP, and today the short side, and I tweeted it out. The short side had a lot of momentum for it because you were below a trend line. If you remember, I pointed out that VWAP was right above. I mean, it's sitting right on that trend line, so you had like a double resistance right there. So, and then the 15-minute candle set up beautifully, and then wash the last 2 hours. I mean, it was a textbook trade. And if you're not trading the 15-minute and the hourly is probably the two best trades going on right now. Look, now with that being said, I was still scalping the 1 minute and the 5 minute, not the 1 minute so much, but the 5 minute. If there is one setup on the 1 minute, I'll do all day long, and it hit 3-4 times. So I scalped it, maybe 5-10 points, 5-10 points, 5-10 points, and then but while I was doing that, the 5 minute setup was happening. See what I'm saying? And then the 15 was happening. So I could trade all three of these time frames. And then the hour candles like the Ace of Spades, when it hits, it washes all these out. So if you don't follow all these time frames, that's probably why some of your trades don't work. Because you're looking, I'm gonna play this 5 minute break, but it don't go anywhere because it didn't, the hourly may have stopped it, or the vice versa. So you just got to know each candle. And that's on days like today, that's the way I trade. It's always sound, and like me being a market maker, I'm probably I have an easier time just flipping stuff. So, like when let's just say if I bought 5 contracts or 10 contracts, whatever, 5's normally what I usually start with. I mean, I'm not a big monster trader. You don't have to be with 5 contracts. What is 5 going? Is that $250 a point? Something like that. But you flip, 5 points is $1,200. That's real money. And you do it again, you do it again, you do it again, So, and if you do 50 or 60 of those and you're right on 80% of them, you have a good day. So, like a real good day. But anyhow, hey, let's have another snort. I want to make sure that I'm mumbling my words when we go off. Some of you probably saying you already are. I am not. With sweet tea. This is what my grandmother mixed all her booze with, sweet tea. Oh, wait. I can't say the name, but I love this band. I saw them in Atlanta at the Center Stage Theater, and I dove off their stage. The lead singer helped me up on the stage. Cool dude. Now I look back on my life and like, what in the hell were you thinking? Who knows who this is? Come on, somebody's got to know. I'm going to block all of you if you don't. None of y'all know, man. Y'all disappoint me. No moonshine for you. So anyhow, we're gonna roll into October. I think that oh, you can't hear it. The blues before and after. I get the blues before and after loving you. This was one of my college bands, man. Saw them several times, but I'll get censored by not your vibe. Well, you're a square, man. What's your vibe, man? You a rapper or something? You're some Snoop Dogg or Ice Cube? Hey, I did see Run DMC in concert. I can cover all genres. I've seen Merle Haggard. Yes, Dan. Yes, Dan. Dan, do you see them in college, man? I'm a lady. Okay, I'm so okay, Lex. Lex, can I call you Lexi? Or is that like too rednecky for you? Hey, Lex J. Thank you, Miss Lex J. All right. Okay, Lexi. Classical. I like classical. I love classical music, man. Who doesn't like Skynyrd? So at the Cotton Club, we talking about the same Cotton Club I went to? I was in Athens when yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, Dan. I've been to the Cotton Club. You ever go to club anytime when the Cotton Club closed? That was a bad feeling going to club anytime and you come out and it'd be daylight. Oh, geez. You never went to club anytime, man? I shouldn't have ever went to the club anytime either. Yeah, I mean, like it. Yeah, that's about right. About when I was around them parts, same time. Sure was. Now I'm like, I need to be home by dark now. That's the rules. When I tell my buddies, I can do something. I got to be home before dark. So yeah, it was. We had some good times. But anyhow, all right. So basically, we talked about the best thing for my trade. I'd like to see it open down and we rally up. But if you look at the monthly just breaking, and it didn't break. I mean, it broke and it came back up a little bit, but I mean, you had the weekly. The weekly candle looks like hell. I mean, like we've got a big just bearish engulfing bar on the weekly, and then the monthly is just now breaking. So I really what I'm thinking tomorrow is I'm gonna watch the bonds, man. I mean, I think the bonds is gonna be the cue here. I mean, and like I said, I've been saying it, and I don't want to say it's right now, tomorrow, the next day, maybe it's 2 weeks from now. There's always been and always will be a bond event. That's the only thing that can invert it. Something's got to give. Something's gonna break. It's the only way it becomes uninverted. So now I'm not a bond guru, but I know a little bit about bonds, and that's what I think. I mean, now if we have a bond rally, I think that's going to pull the market up, and we draw the bear. We draw a bear flag. And when I'm looking at the QQQs right now. If you look at make sure I got on. Yeah, it's on the daily. I'm looking at the QQ day right now, and say we closed below all the moving averages, way below all the moving averages, even below the lower Bollinger Band. And you got a trend line at 355.84 on the Qs. So if that doesn't hold, then you're going to come down to the 350. So the two levels that I would attempt, if we open at the 355.84, I would attempt along there. If we open down at the 350, I can tell you exactly where it's at. That ain't 350, it's a little bit lower. 348.23. So 355 and 348.23 is two levels that I would try. Now, if we break below that 355 and come back up and touch it, I'm going to short that. And if we break it, then it's going to go up to the 360 level. I think and I'm on you on the Qs you had, how wide was the candle today? You really didn't have that wide a range. You had a 361.60 high, 357.32 low. So you had what, 3.5, 4? You had a 4-point range on Qs. So it wasn't a monster range in Qs. You had the spies look like they're in worse technical shape than NQ, which is surprising to me. I really thought NQ would. Now NQ can catch up on the downside in a hurry. But that was the play that I had in the ES is when it broke that monthly candle. So anyhow, I'm gonna look over some stocks and see if some of those got some really good setups, and I'll post them tonight or in the morning. But anyhow, guys, that's pretty much all I got for tonight. I just wanted to touch base and say, hey, the market sucked me back in. It was a setup I really, really liked. And so now we got something that, we can look for a bounce. Some of these levels, and if it just releases, if the bonds release to the downside, see, there also, when you look at stuff like this, if the bonds do release, these technicals are not going to matter. Yes, Steve, I think that if we have a bond event, I think we're going to be right slap dab in a 2008 type banking crisis, is what I think. I think real estate's going to go to shit. I think banks are going to need bailing out, and we'll send another $400 billion to Ukraine. That's what I think. Just what I think. I've been saying we've been, but see, here's the thing about it: we're not going to have a banking crisis immediately because they already passed their stress tests. That's why the bonds rallied in the first place. Bonds rallied in the first place where their ass could pass the stress test. So now guess what? The big banks don't have to be tested again for 2 years. The weak banks have another year. So if there is going to be a crisis, guess when it'll be? After the election. See, that's the way that's the way they lined it up. They've postponed it, man, but it's coming. I promise you, it's coming. There's no getting around this. Not if bonds keep coming down like they are. Because when last time bonds were here is when I spent like 2 days in the Federal Reserve's website reading their gobbledygook, and that's when I realized that, hey, that's when I started looking at the bank's balance sheets, and like 80% of the regional banks were undercapitalized. I mean, just about all the banks were undercapitalized. And so I was like, that's when everything, and see, that was in October of last year. So here we are a year later, back at the same lows. And did the banks unload some of their bond holdings or whatever? I don't know, but I can just tell you that there was some backdoor deals going on in the bond market. I'll promise you that. So the so my thing, Steve, is that's what I think. Um, I hate to I hate to see another crisis like 08, 09, but that's what this system is built around. It's all about having a crisis, man. That's what this game's about, is the next crisis. If you hang around this business long enough, you're going to have a crisis every 10, 12 years. You go back every 10, 12, 15, maybe sometimes 20. There's always been a banking crisis. What you had the savings and loans crisis, then you had uh, the long-term capital crisis, and then you had the 2008, 2009. Every 10, 12 years, you're gonna have a banking crisis. That's how it was invented, man. Federal Reserve. I know some of y'all have read the book The Creature from Jekyll Island. And then that's where it all started. And it was all about the bank. The Federal Reserve's not even a government entity. Yeah, it's just it's a bunch of it's a and they're located, their main branches on Wall Street, in between JP Morgan. Like, you got the Federal Reserve, then a block over JP Morgan, or maybe 2 blocks. I know some New Yorkers, no, it's 2 blocks, and whatever. It's a block or 2 from the damn thing, okay? So the I've been right there by the Federal Reserve. I didn't go in. They didn't invite me to come in. I'd have told them how to run things. But when I was up there in the city, I walked right by the Federal Reserve and the JP Morgan. I think Goldman, well, they were all in the towers up there, but JP Morgan was still down. Well, they were still down there by the Federal Reserve. I assume they still are. And if they did, they didn't send me the memo they moved. So, and they would. So, but anyhow, all right, guys, I've been at this thing 37 minutes. I said I was going to try and keep them 30 minutes long or whatever. But anyhow, it's tomorrow will be interesting. I'm going to give it about a couple of hours. I'm not trading all day tomorrow. Hey, we got homecoming this week. My daughter's on the homecoming court. And so it's the second year in a row I've had to buy 3 homecoming dresses. With my daughter getting on the court for the second year, I told my wife I'm kind of wishing our kids were ugly. I mean, Lexi, it is nice. Tell your mom I'm calling you Lexi. If your mom's living, I hope. If she's not, bless her heart. My mom's not. So sometimes I regret saying stuff like that. So hopefully she is. But yeah, Lexi, that's kind of exciting. And so I didn't get a new suit though. Okay, good. Yeah, I did, because I wanted a new suit out of the deal. I'm like, y'all are getting new dresses. You want me to wear the same suit that I wore on the field last year? The same one? So they got me a tie, a new tie. Yay, a new tie. So no, she told me I couldn't wear this certain shirt. You had to wear this shirt and this tie. And I was like, yes, ma'am. So I got to be at the stadium at 6:30 in the Georgia heat in a suit at a football game. A big football game. Like, we're number 1 in the state. They're number 3 in the state. A big football game. So against the county next door, big rivalry. So anyhow, now the football. My football is the football thing, and then of course the dance is Saturday night, and so 2 kids got to be at this party and this party, and I get to go to one of the parties. So we're having this big thing for the kids. So it's a homecoming kids weekend. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, and I'm already like, I only get like another year or 2 of this, so I'm already like, my heart's already skipping because I don't know what am I going to do when they're not here. Go fishing and hunting and have fun. No. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. But anyhow, all right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I'll come on briefly like I did this morning in the morning. I'm gonna look at some stocks. And so anyhow, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Y'all tell somebody about me. Steve, thank you, man. Lexi, nice. I don't think this is the first time I've seen you speak up. So Lexi, thank you for joining in always. Dan, Wise Trader, Taz, Skunk Ape, Skunk Ape. Skunk Ape. Now you sound like you could be one of my buddies, man. Skunk Ape. That's just the kind of name I hang at. Skunk Ape and my buddies. I was talking to my buddies the other day, and I got to laughing. I was like, they ought to see the my buddies. I was talking to Tater Pie, Coon Dog, and Mudbone. Serious. I was like, y'all wouldn't just, and they're the coolest dudes, man. Y'all have, I mean, like, they're way cooler than me. I mean, there's some like live in the woods kind of guys, and I'm like, just come out for some supplies every now and then. You hear from them when they get stuck in their truck somewhere. See, I get that call because I got a big winch on the front of my Jeep and a real long chain, and so everybody, hey, we can call Daryl. So, and I'm cheap too, man. I'm like, it depends on how far I got to drive, like either a 12-pack or a case, a 30-pack, $20. That's cheap towing, AAA charge what, 150, 200. But not me. No, not me. I work for beer and moonshine. I want to make this guy $100,000 to see what I get. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyhow, guys, hey, y'all peace out. Y'all have a good night, and we'll chat in the morning. Tomorrow's going to be a good day. I think trading's just going to really pick up. We needed some volatility. All this sideways stuff drove me crazy. So, but anyhow, it's set up good. So, and we're going to have some good setups out of this right here because this will set up nicely. So, and that's what we do, set up to set up. So, anyhow, all right, guys, good night, and talk to y'all in the morning.